subscribe.
Yo, what's up guys? I have some cool tricks that I would like to show you that I use as a solo player, especially on vanilla servers where I get raided almost every single night. And some of these tricks you guys are gonna know. I have a lot of new people, new players to Rust on my channel, so I thought I would go over some tips that pros utilize, but obviously there might be something that you are not aware of, because you know your boy always goes in depth on these types of subjects. Spend some time on my private server, which I have tons of questions about what server I do my builds and stuff on. I use gameservers.com. I have my own private server. That's where I do all of this stuff at. I've probably got around 800 hours on just a private server where I do whatever I want with my admin commands and stuff. So sometimes I just sit down for a few hours and see what I can do. And this time I thought I would show you something quite the opposite, things that I figured out while playing the game actually on like a vanilla server, or sometimes I play on modded just to mess around and, you know, maybe learn some things like what I'm about to show you. So I have around 4 or 5 different techniques that involve stashes. Now I'm sure if you saw my community poll, you are aware that this video was probably going to be about stashes. So I am hopefully going to teach some of the veteran players a thing or two that they might not know. So I would recommend watching the video, maybe skipping ahead past a couple parts that you do know, so that I'm not wasting your time, because I never want to waste anybody's time. But this is something that will absolutely help out any new players out there who always lose all their loot and they have no idea what to do about it. They've tried every possibility that they could think of to try to save all of their loot. So hopefully this video will clear some things up for you to where you will never ever lose any loot unless somebody has seen this video and they spent the time trying to figure out which one that you did. So first off, if you've seen my previous video on this subject, this is the decay method. So what you would do is this works best when you have a compound and your external TCs near the one you want to decay are metal frags, are upgraded with metal frags, and then you have like a decoy one. So come out, like I would come out just to the edge of building priv and then scoot in a little bit so that it's taken over by these ones. It doesn't really matter, but just if you want to have another TC over here and you decide to put a TC in here, I mean, I wouldn't put a TC in here, but I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, you know? I would keep no TC in here whatsoever, because otherwise it's going to say on the bottom right that the building is decaying, and you don't want to do that. So if we look at the size of the triangle foundation, you can get a good idea of how many you can fit under here. You do not have to hide them either. You just have to make sure they all fit in here. And the point of this, if you haven't seen my other video, is if you're going to be offline for a while, you calculate how many hours you need. So with stone, I do believe it's 8 hours or like 4 hours until this will fully decay. You could just leave it like this, but it's best to make it look like it's a fake TC and that it is just decaying or something. So this would be the best possibility to use this for. And then when you get online, you just wait till it decays. I mean, if you're hiding a bunch of sulfur in here, you shouldn't need to use it right away. You can figure out all the timers for it. You can make it armored if you're going to be offline for 12 or more hours, and then when you get back it'll be there. If you do hide them, obviously destroy the ones that stick out so that nobody sees them. But yeah, if you want to hide them, it'd probably be a better option if you're going to be offline more than 12 hours. You just have to remember exactly where you put them at, and if you're having issues hiding them, I know some people think that it's not possible. You just gotta look up really fast as you're hiding it, and not lag, and click off your screen, and then you will be able to hide all of them like that, and then you'll build the foundation on top of it. But I wouldn't hide it, because otherwise you might not remember where you put it at. But if it's only 1 or 2, then you should be good. But do keep in mind, looking at it will make them pop up. So that's why I wouldn't hide them, and I would just get online before it decays, like set an alarm on your phone or something. And then yeah, these types of external TCs are good to put turrets on. So you could also hide some in like some bushes around, obviously. But you don't want to get too crazy with it. I tried to experiment with these things, not too much success. The best options besides this one, which really isn't that good, it would really only be good for like clans to try to deceive your enemy, or you could even do it just to make anybody who's seen this video waste raid materials on this fake TC, which is kind of why I want to show this, because you never know, it could just be a fake one. Keep that in mind. I don't always give out every single tip that I think of when I'm making these types of videos, because you never know what somebody's going to do. They could fake it to make you waste raid materials. You just got to think outside the box. So I would probably use this one to fake people out, but I have used it before in the past inside of a base where I have like a stone foundation or like a random high quality foundation, and I just put them randomly throughout the base to try to fake people out. But yeah, another option would be to keep them underneath your bag. And you'll see here, I showed you how to do it incorrectly first. So you see you can access them because they're sticking out of the bottom here. But this is a really good method. If you have a bush somewhere, you stick a couple of these in there, right? Just like one or two or three, and then you put your bag on top of it, and it completely hides them. If you place it near the pillow though, it will stick out, but you cannot access it. So I mean, unless somebody's really looking at your bag, they're not going to notice something like that. So if you're in your compound or near your base, put like 2 to 4 of them like this, real close together, and do not hide them, otherwise people will be able to see that. And you want to keep it away from the pillow, but also make sure that it's not going to stick out of the bottom, because the bottom raises up, especially if you're on a hill. So exactly like that would be perfect. And then you could just put these everywhere, put bags everywhere, and maybe name it something special so you know that all of your stuff is under here. And what's good about this is you can just pick it up and then access your stashes like that, and then place your bag back down, and neither of them will take damage, which is pretty cool. So I use this one all of the time. I have only ever had someone find it once, and that's because they were watching me do it. So this one is very, very effective, and you could multiply it, have fake ones, so you could just have one with nothing in it, and then have one on the other side of the map with all your stuff in it, maybe near a road where helis spawn. I also try to do something with the fireplaces. They don't really work that well. The only time that they would work well is if, you know, there's like, you're like in a snow biome and nobody's really built out there. Just throw a fireplace with a bag next to it somewhere. But these are another thing to keep in mind. You could just throw a stash down, but you have to hide it before you put the fire on it. So this one's quite obvious. I won't use it that much. Another one that you could do outside of your base is just throw random furnaces, pick them up, you get a stash under there. This is another obvious one, but if you're one of those people that puts your workbenches outside, you put your research table outside, you might want to throw one of these down and have a stash under it. Otherwise, my favorite one would be this one right here. So you're built in like a hilly area, right? You figure out where you would want to start your build from, so you would have to know the floor plan of your base and then build it all in twig, whatever your floor plan is going to be, you know what I mean? So this would be like your little jump up area. And the thing is, you can't put your stash down after you built the foundation. So you would want to make sure that you know where this triangle is going to go, or you know where this square is going to go. The squares are a little more difficult to do this with. You'd have to really shove it into like a steep hill. It's easier with triangles, as you can just do it like that right there. And then you would put your stashes down. You can fit like 2 or 3 before it starts to stick out. And then you just lift your triangle foundation up right there. Now you've got stashes inside of your foundation. And then you just come up to them and they pop right back out. This is one that I use almost as much as I use the bag one. The only difficulty with this is you have to build in a slightly hilly area, but as everybody knows, Rust is full of hills, so it's nothing too difficult to find. And you have to know your floor plan beforehand, unless you just free build, which I like to do a lot. And then I'll include this in a lot of areas where I would have like a jump up, you know what I mean? And then this would be my next floor. And then I'll trap it. So I'll put like an auto turret right here maybe, or some shotgun traps, or like turn it into a drop down from the second floor instead, and have something like this where I have shotgun traps protecting it from the top, and then use like a furnace or something to get up, like one of these types of deals, and then force them to come in from right here by doing something like that, and then just making them run around here. So doing it like this would be very effective, because then they have to deal with these shotgun traps, which are harsher than the auto turret, which people could just rocket out. But this would require them to send quite a few rockets, more than necessary, especially to hit this one in the back. And then if you have the auto turret right here, it's just babysitting them stashes. You can just peek on back here to hide them. And you can do this multiple times within your base as well if you know your floor plan. I would just do the whole floor plan in twig, and then break the ones where you're going to put the stashes down, and then put the foundation right next to them, and you're good to go. The ones that I found the most effective would be this one right here and the bag one. And then I would use something like this to fake people out. And if you use this one for like a wipe or two and nobody ever like destroys it, maybe put some like fake stashes in there and test it out. Just hide them, and if anybody like reveals them, or you know what I mean? So like if you have some stashes in there, you hide them, and then you come back online and this is gone, but your stashes are out. That means that somebody knew they were there, or they came up to it and looked at it and had them you know, revealed the stashes while they were in the foundation. Then you know that people are aware of it. So that's how you could test that. And if they're still hidden, maybe this is something that you could utilize next wipe after. So just some things to keep in mind. A lot of people out there complain that they get raided, they lose all their loot, they gotta farm again, they're stuck in a cycle. So I thought I would go over a few of the things that I use, which I never ever lose my loot ever, because of these tactics that I just showed you. And because I've shown them doesn't mean that everybody's gonna know about it, or if this video blows up, everybody's gonna know about it. So, I mean, you just have to be smart about it, you know what I mean? Put stashes under every single bag, and then randomly put your loot in them, or spread it out, you know, put like 1/5 of your sulfur under that bag with 4 other bags with 1/5 of your sulfur in it. Don't put everything all in one location, and make sure it's in a location where somebody can't spy on you while you're gathering the loot when you get back online. Just, you know, some common sense things to keep in mind. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll catch you next time.